This has been another difficult week for London Jews. The attack of 2 Jewish men in Golders Green has caused many people to feel anxious and fearful, to question our own sense of security, to wonder if we feel safe to be Jewish. Some voices are telling us there is no safety to be found. Others point the blame at politicians, at leaders, at Israel, at Zionism, at anti-Zionism, everyone grasping and pointing at someone to hold sole blame. So I want to offer a different perspective. As I sat down to write this Devar Torah, I opened up the Torah reading to see what wisdom I might find in our tradition and sacred texts. Finding ourselves deep in the laws of Leviticus, I cynically wondered how the laws of the priesthood or the list of the festivals might give us a sense of connection to tradition, to remind us of the resilience of our people, or to invite us to share space in community together. But I did question what words I could say that could give us hope and strength in this moment, while also acknowledging and holding the pain and anxiety not only felt in our own community, but by UK Jewry at large. And one aspect of this week's Parsha is creating laws to mitigate harm within society. Imagine you are setting up a community, a synagogue, a school classroom, a workplace, a society. One necessary step is a system of accountability. What are the expectations and what happens when someone breaks them? How is harm addressed and repaired? How do we create a world where everyone feels safe and can trust one another? So the Torah offers us one direction. Regarding one who intentionally maims another person, what shall be done in return is fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. The injury inflicted on the human being shall be inflicted in return. And a surface level reading of these verses might make us very uncomfortable. After all, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, which highlights the dangers of exacting retributive justice. As children, we are often taught that if someone hits us to walk away. When someone harms us, we are often expected to be the bigger person, to not exact revenge or demand a proverbial pound of flesh from the perpetrator. And the rabbis of the Talmud were so uncomfortable with a literal understanding of this verse that they interpreted it as monetary remuneration for harm caused. They put strict limits on how this verse could be applied, made it impossible to understand the victim as literally having the right to return the damage and strike out the eye of the aggressor. The Talmud says first that intention must be proven, and only then must the perpetrator pay the monetary value of the injury. And the monetary cost is then calculated in reference to the value of an indentured slave and the financial loss of wages that a person with this injury would incur. And so while reading the text as a reference to financial relief and not physical vengeance might feel slightly better, the fact that we must assign a person a monetary value in order to determine what justice is does leave a bad taste in my mouth. How can we truly put a numeric value on any human life? That would be quite simply impossible. And I think we are meant to be uncomfortable with the rabbinic solution as well. This discomfort helps create the pure societal pressure not to cause harm. We should cultivate a society where even the idea of putting a number on someone's life becomes unthinkable. It's the breakdown of that relationship, where the perpetrator lost sight of the victim's humanity, that caused the initial damage, forcing the court to further suspend that humanity to determine a just solution and impose a monetary fine. So the moment we begin to see another person, whoever they are, as anything less than a divine creation, as a person with limitless potential and value, we put ourselves on the path towards inevitable conflict. So while the Talmud solution provides a less gruesome solution than that of the Torah's initial law, it leaves me with a sense of unease. I came across a contemporary interpretation of this verse that I would like to share with you. Perhaps The seemingly harsh language of the Torah is an echo of the victim's roar of pain. It is a reminder that whatever compensation is provided, money remains an imperfect way of making up for the loss suffered. What is lost, the ability to see, walk, feel safe, to trust, can never fully be replaced. The victim's experience and memory of the violent act can never fully be erased. This is written by Rabbi Judith Levitan. The Torah says, yes, it is fair to demand an eye for an eye, a limb for a limb. It is fair to be enraged and scream and demand justice. No amount of money can replace that eye. No amount of compensation will give the victim their life back. The loss, be it emotional or physical, is a permanent damage that cannot be undone. So the Torah comes in and validates the pain of the victim. It acknowledges the profound loss and harm that has been caused. For a moment, it allows the victim the space to feel all their pain and suffering and not be expected to contain it within the rules of a proper, polite society. The Torah gives voice only to the victim in that moment, reminding us that no compensation can make up for the action. But our tradition never rules along these lines. The rabbis, who play the role of judge and court, remind us that we cannot build a healthy community or safe society where one injured party can simply hurt another back. In our own day and context, we might wonder, what is fair? When individual Jews are harmed or a synagogue is attacked, our courts have rules and systems to follow up and enact justice. But what about those who are indirectly harmed? Those who feel afraid in the aftermath or wonder about their own safety? What is fair? What could justice even look like? And this is where the Torah offers us a voice. It gives space for fear and anger. It says, yes, of course you feel anxious. Of course you feel angry. Of course the harm that has been done to you can never truly be undone. But it is just one verse of the entire Parsha. The rest of the Parsha reminds us that we cannot become lost in that anger and anxiety. The rest of the Parsha teaches us about the festivals, times to come together in community and renew our relationships with one another and with God. The Parsha tells us the laws of the priests, setting out expectations of how our leaders should behave. It tells us to treat everyone equally, regardless of social status or citizenship. The blunt phrasing of an eye for an eye is meant to provide catharsis, but just for a moment. It is just one verse among many. Fear and anxiety are valid, but we do not let them consume us or tear us away from one another. So the Torah offers a choice. We know that healing can't come from anger, and that peace can't come from war. The Torah gives voice to that anger and sadness, but the subsequent rabbinic tradition reminds us we don't act from that place. Instead, we seek ways to understand and integrate what we feel so it does not consume us. We find sources of strength that carry us beyond anxiety and fear and allow us to remain connected to the best parts of ourselves and continue to aspire to who we want to be. So as we enter Shabbat, let us hold space for all the complicated and difficult things we have felt this week, but do not let it consume us. Let us, as the Torah does, give voice for a moment, validate and understand, but remember not to let it drive us apart from one another or from our larger communities. Let us seek to build each other up, support each other in difficult times, and know that our tradition and our community can carry us through even the darkest moments. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be so.